All right, I wanted to show you these two new interchangeable core tools that a friend recommended to me and that I bought from. These are the quick load tool and the quick test tool. I'll put a link if you're interested in buying them. These are for interchangeable core. This particular model is 7-pin, but it'll work for anything: Best, Falcon, Schley, Medico, Peaks, KSP, whatever. As long as it's that small format interchangeable core, it's going to fit in there. When you're pinning up cores, you've got a multitude of options. Of course, you can always just pin by hand, and that's fine. A1 makes, I don't know what happened with them, products, like this, or the Lab Annex, so you have something to hold on to while you're pinning. There's also core holding tools like this one made by Kaba. Pretty much all the same purpose. Hold on to the core for you while you're pinning up. What I like about this one as opposed to the other ones is that this one has if I can get to it, a ball detent right there. And what that does is when you insert the core, it holds it in place. So I'm shaking it and it's not going anywhere, which is great because, imagine if you're pinning something up and you knock it on accident, chance that the core can come out and things go flying. That's a real risk on, for example, this Kaba one, where nothing's holding it in, just itself. So if I knock it over one way or knock it over the other way, whatever, there's a chance that pins can go flying. Not really a risk for like this A1, but you got to keep in mind there is a set screw, so every time I load one up, got to tighten it down to hold it in place. And then when I want to remove it, I got to untighten it. So that's just one extra motion. Whereas with this quick load tool, pop it in, that's it. And then from the back, when I'm ready to remove it, just slide it out like that. It's color coordinated. We use numbers for our chambers. As far as I know, that's the industry standard, but this is a kind of a novel approach to it. Whereas numbers, you would use individual colors to identify particular chambers. That'll make sense a little bit in a second when I show you the second half, or the quick test tool. But for now, it would help you kind of transpose cores based off of what part of the tool you're using. But the real fun is the quick test portion. And there are the colors that I was just mentioning. So for example, if I'm taking the red chamber, which what we'd call chamber 1, I can put that stack in there, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. What this does is each one of these pins are spring loaded. There's 7 of them, 150 spacing, so pretty much standard. And what you would do, I've got one already pinned up here. Let's imagine I just got done pinning that. Push it all the way in. I can place the quick test tool on top, and before I load springs or caps or stamp it or whatever, I can simply, this is going to be kind of awkward because I'm normally doing it on the bench, but I want to be able to show you, put the key in. You can see some of those pins have gone up. Those are what they call trumpet keys. See how they've kind of gone up. And then with that pressure applied, that spring pressure on those pins or trumpet keys or whatever they are, I can test the core. And then when I'm done, pull it out. And I guess I could try the control key too to show you that works. Good to go. As you can see, trumpet keys. So we pull those out, and actually I'll stop for a second to kind of show you another good feature of these. I don't know if you can see, but the 7th chamber, that trumpet key's up just a little bit. That tells me that a pin hasn't set fully, so all I got to do is press it down. Actually, let me show you a better example. I'm going to purposely do this just to show you. Let me get a good one in there. Put like a 4 or something. One of the notorious ones. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. See, it's not set in there perfectly. So the pin stack's not going to go all the way down. It's hard to do with a camera in front of you. There we go. You can see how it's kind of higher than the other one. So let's imagine I did that in the pinning process and whatever, wasn't paying attention. When I put this, well, of course it's going to fit it. Yeah, it did it there. But let's say it was hung up particularly well. This trumpet key would go up and let me know that a pin's not seating properly. And then I can just very simply press down on this, transfer that motion down to that pin, and it'll knock it into place. So this tool is very useful in that if you're doing a lot of interchangeable core work, you know, it's always a good idea to test everything before you start capping, because if you made a mistake, then you've got to uncap it, you've got to go through each chamber, blah, blah, blah. This allows you to test it without loading springs, then removing springs, then putting it in your capping tool, then putting the springs back in, or whatever. So there's that. And then, because these are color coordinated, if something goes wrong, you've kind of got a spot here to place your pins until you can figure out what the heck went wrong. And I'll try to do this with the camera. I did it backwards. I'd obviously be a lot more careful if this was for real, but I'm just kind of showing you proof of concept here. But you can put everything in there, all 7 chambers, until you figure out what's wrong, or until you can take a caliper or something like that to check it out. But again, nice little place to put your pins and tools while you're trying to figure out what the heck went wrong. All metal construction, don't know if I said that, but I was really worried when I saw the pictures of this that it was a plastic, and I'm not a big fan of plastic, especially on tools that get used a lot. So this is very cool. The front of this, obviously, when put together, this would be the front. This is what traps the core and holds it in place while you're testing the key. This is just the standard plate of it, but if you take it apart, you've got, well, number 1, this is for Peaks core. On the face of interchangeable cores for Peaks, sits a little bit proud. So when you would put this in, you kind of get a little bit of extra room. And this one is for extended plugs. Well, I mean, a lot of people make them, but the whole purpose of this, and I'll key this one up just to show you. This is going to be kind of difficult because that one's already done. You see those trumpet keys all the way up, but you can see how it would not cover the plug. So if you had an extended plug, you're not shooting yourself in the foot there. But that's about it. This is made by Ultra Security. They're out of San Diego. I wish I had known about this tool a lot sooner, because sometimes we do 50, 100, 200 cores a day, and always test keys before we ship them out. All keys, control keys, multiple master keys, whatever's it's keyed to, we always like to test. But now, when we're done pinning a core, after it's already in there, put the quick test on, try the keys out, good to go, put it in the tray, we'll cap it later, but we know that for now, everything in there works because we tried it out. So I am so happy I found this tool. If you do a lot of interchangeable core work, buy it. It's worth it. Can't wait to use it on big projects. Thanks, guys.